Hi guys, welcome back. You will see this hairstyle a lot. I'm gonna be completely honest, I love it. I stretched out my hair, I did some twists, and they're just great. Like, I keep them in for as long as I want, and this little half up, half down thing with like the little bangs. Sorry, not sorry, this is what I'm gonna be looking like for at least through summer. Probably, maybe when winter time comes, I'll switch it up, but you never know. So today's video is books that have been on my TBR, aka my to be read list forever. At least, let me see, about 2 years. Most of them have been on my TBR for at least 2 years. So yeah, without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and get into it. Now, I did get a new mic and it says that it blocks out background noise, and my roommate's downstairs on like a conference call or something, so I guess we'll see by the end of the video if that's actually the case. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get started right after I drink my water because I have not been hitting my quota for the day. This is bottle like 1.5 out of 3, and it's 3:30. All right, let's go. First and foremost, the 4 Agreements. This is one of those books that pretty much everyone has read, except for me. I bought it at Goodwill. I remember like searching Goodwill for it. And I know that it's just one of the books that kind of help people. I wouldn't describe it as like a self-help, but it's a practical guide to personal freedom. So the author reveals the source of self-limiting beliefs that rob us of joy and create needless suffering. I need to read it. I have been suffering needlessly for 4 years, so I need to read it. Next, The Shack by W.M. Paul Young. Now, I first remember encountering this book. I think my stepmom at the time had it or something, but I know that a lot of people really like it, and I don't know. I think it's like, it does have something to do with God in some sense, but I'm really not 100% sure. Mackenzie's daughter was like murdered, and 4 years later she receives a note from God inviting her back to the place where her daughter was murdered for the weekend. So I think it's just one of those ones that are like, you know, people say books will change your life. I feel like this is one. Clearly I haven't wanted my life to change at all in the past like 3 years since I've gotten this, because I still haven't read it, but it's gonna happen. Next is How We Survived, 52 Personal Stories by Child Survivors of the Holocaust. So for my 25th birthday, me and some of my friends went to LA, and I really wanted to visit the museum, the Holocaust Museum, the same one that they visit in the Freedom Riders. And I wanted like a memento from that experience, so of course I got a book. So this is massive book of childhood stories, survivors from the Holocaust, and part of the reason I haven't read it was because I knew it was going to be sad and I just like didn't want to get into that. But at the same time, I tend to like stray away from books that aren't fiction, because I feel like I'm already living in a non-fiction world. Like, I'm already living, you know, this real life. I always want to escape to something that's not real. But yeah, so I bought this, and I'm not getting rid of it. I am going to read all of these books on my list. I am going to, most of them I'm going to read. I just don't know when yet. But yeah, that's another one. And then, so there's this store that I love going in my city. I forgot the name of it, but it's like a spiritual store. There's sage in there, there's crystals, there's incense, there's statues and things to bring you wealth and health and money. I love that store. And I went to that store, I want to say maybe like 2 years ago, and I was like, you know what, I'm finally gonna buy something. So I ended up buying 3 books. The first one is Crystals for Karmic Healing, Transform Your Future by Releasing Your Past. Now, when I picked this up, I was under the impression that these crystals were for like mental healing, but I'm pretty sure they mean like physical ailments, but I haven't picked it up. And I feel like it's one of those books where like you don't read it in one sitting, you kind of go and you study it, you take notes, you know, do things like that. So I got that one. Then I also got Chakra Healing and Karmic Awareness. And I think this is pretty much the same thing. Just there's charts in here, there's words about all different sorts of energies, and I have to be in a very particular mood to want to go to that spiritual side of myself. And lately, for the past 3 years, I haven't been in that mood, so these books have just been sitting here. The third one is a complete book of chakra healing. There's definitely a theme here. Oh, looks like I did start this one. I do have a bookmark. You can't see it because my exposure is all out of whack, but I do have a bookmark in here. I got 8 pages in. Then we have Schindler's List. Now, I know this is a movie. I haven't read the movie. I haven't seen the movie. I actually got this at Goodwill. It was like packaged and everything. No one had opened it. But it's a true story of how a German war profiteer and factory director came to save more Jews from the gas chambers than any other single person during World War II. I know this is going to be sad. That's partially why I haven't read it. And once again, true story. It's nonfiction, so my mind's automatically like, ooh, let's read something different. So, work in progress. This next one, I can't even freaking believe I bought it, but I mean, hey. Roots. I have seen maybe about half of the Roots movies. My dad used to have them on VHS, and I watched them. I watched them all the way up until I believe Kizzy was an old woman, or she like was like an adult, something along there. I don't know how far that is. But I saw this at Walmart, $10.98, and I was like, ooh, let me dive deep into my history. And it's been sitting on my bookshelf ever since. I think it's going on like 3 years now. Once again, not gonna get rid of it because I feel like this is solid. I just haven't gotten to it yet. But never fear, it will happen eventually. Next we have Wicked. Wicked has been on my shelf for like 2 to 3 years now. I haven't officially tried to start it yet, but I did go see the play back when I was in high school, and I was amazed. It was awesome. And so I told myself, oh yeah, this book is gonna be great, and I just haven't picked it up. This one I may or may not hold on to. It just kind of depends. I will start to try to read it, and if I'm not interested, then I'll just go ahead and unhaul it. I got this one from Goodwill too, so it was like maybe $2, not that big of a deal, but yeah, still. Next we have an Empath by Alex Miles. I got this about 3 years ago, and the problem with this is that I didn't realize it was gonna be this dense, like, research-driven book. I thought it was going to be more of like a guide or something. I don't know. I got a copy for both me and my friend off of Amazon a few years ago. And yeah, so it's the Highly Sensitive Person's Guide to Energy, Emotions, and Relationships. I need to read it because I need that guide. But hasn't happened yet, so what can you do? Next, we have Brainwashed by Tom Burrell. I got this back when I was like in my first relationship. I was 19, 20. This book has been here forever. I got it from a museum in San Francisco, the Museum of the African Diaspora. I love that museum. It was great, and I saw this book and I was like, oh my gosh, this is perfect, and I just never picked it up. But it is challenging the myth of Black inferiority. So I know like it's relevant and I need to read it. I just kind of need to sit down and like dedicate maybe like a few hours a week to read books that aren't fiction, to kind of get myself in that mindset. So that one I'm still looking forward to reading it. I know it's been so long, but still. And then last but not least, the new Jim Crow. This was popular my 20s, I don't know, I went to San Diego. I remember I went to San Diego for one of my birthdays. We went to like San Diego Zoo and da-da-da-da. And my present that I wanted from my partner at the time, I was like, I want to go to Barnes & Noble. So I went to Barnes & Noble and I was looking for this everywhere, and then I finally found it. So The New Jim Crow's Mass Incarceration in the Age of Colorblindness by Michelle Alexander. Once again, one of those ones where like I know it's relevant and I know that I could benefit from reading it. I just haven't gotten on myself to do so. So yeah, it's gonna be a year. I told myself, I know it's already May, so we're like halfway done, but better late than never. So I think starting next week, I'm gonna dedicate maybe like 3 hours a week to read books that aren't fiction, just so I can kind of get a handle on some of these, because that's the only way I'm gonna start to do it, is if I actually like hunker down and be like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. Do you guys have any books that you're kind of holding on to for whatever reason, but you just cannot seem to give them away, and you can't seem to get started on reading them either? I challenge you. We're gonna do this. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna happen. But thank you guys so much for watching. Definitely appreciate it. We're gonna kick, I can't say that, we're gonna kick butt. My little sister watches my channel. She's 10, so there's no cursing. Gray, if you're watching this, I love you so much and I can't wait to see you again. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Do not forget to leave me some comments down below. Feel free to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.
She's a Mona Lisa. Everyone's lining up to see her. She's a Mona Lisa.